Okay, folks, so just wanted to give you a video of those tips from this morning's class for creating your streetscape. So I'll go ahead and just kind of walk you through that. So the first tip is start with your horizon line lower than usual. Don't maybe put it right into the middle of your page. Start with it a bit lower. What that allows for is for you to have some really nice tall buildings on your streetscape, like some skyscrapers and stuff. Okay, so you start with your first building in the middle, like as though you're looking at sort of like a street corner, and your buildings are going off sort of down two different streets. So we get our first line in there, first corner, and go ahead and draw in our orthogonals to our vanishing points to create both sides of our building. And last one. Get up there. That's funny, my ruler has a little notch and it made a funny little bump in my line there. That's okay, I can fix that. And then go ahead and draw my verticals for the back corners of my buildings. Very nice. So you can kind of see now with the lower horizon line, it allows for a nice tall building, which is great because then you can put on windows and signs and things in the windows that really communicate or customize it so it's your building and your streetscape. My next tip was to space your buildings out so that they're not all right next to each other. So then this can kind of allow for, it's almost like you have an alleyway or a laneway in between the buildings, right? Because naturally buildings aren't necessarily all attached to each other. There's often sort of laneways where you can get to the side or the back of the building. Oops, that little bump in my ruler, making a little notch in my line. Okay. So I drew my first line and I've kind of set it back a little bit from the other building. And then I'm going to go ahead just like I normally would and draw on my orthogonals. Okay. Make sure my verticals are nice and vertical. And so, contrast, there we go. Now I can draw in my little alleyway as well. So this is my front corner. This side goes to the right vanishing point. So everything on this side goes to the left vanishing point. So I can go ahead and just scooch this little line in here. And now you can see it creates sort of like a little alleyway between the buildings, right? The other thing I sort of showed was how you could put some buildings in the background, maybe too. Just kind of buildings that you'd see that might be like on a different street, but because they're like tall, you can kind of see them from your street. I feel a little bump in my paper there. Making it quite. So I also mentioned in this morning's class that normally in class when we'd be working on this assignment, I would be giving you guys really custom wide paper so that you could have like a really nice like long street with lots of buildings. And because you're working your sketchbook on this, you don't have as much space, so you can't have as many buildings perhaps with as much detail. Contrast, there we go. So you only have to have 3 buildings. You can add more if you like and get creative with it, but the idea here is that you are creating your custom street and showing me things that you like related to all about you and hobbies. And I mentioned maybe like food, maybe like restaurants that you really like, that you wish you could go to. Hopefully we'll get there. We'll get there again, right? So there you go. And just remember, when you're adding any doors or windows or signs on your buildings, they all need to be in perspective as well, right? Even the signs, right? Last tip was block in all your buildings before you add any details. Don't put in a lot of details before you've got everything placed and planned and refined in case you need to erase something. You don't want it to be where you're erasing a lot of work on details that you've done. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.